Hello and welcome to the Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix playthrough. My name is Valgo the Echidna, and I am joined once again by my good buddy.
Me, REMIX, as my internet YouTube name will say.
Thank you for actually introducing yourself by name.
I'm just saying me. I know, that's what I do.
We're not too very well known on YouTube as of yet, but we hope with the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 remix hype that's been going around, this will be something that people are actually looking for, as opposed to we have a complete run of Ape Escape for the PlayStation 1, and we've begun a live playthrough of Mega Man Battle Network Transmission.
But that doesn't seem to be panning out as fluidly as...
Yeah, not as much as I had hoped, but we'll get back onto that.
Look at these great graphics.
I know. Game? And then you play the game and it's like not as good.
But this is what I feel like always happens with hype, is that people make these cutscenes for trailers and they actually think, oh.
Yeah. Well, it makes me wonder the difference between rendering game graphics and rendering movie graphics like this, because they're two very different fields, and you got to think about like file size, like how much they can fit onto the disc.
Yeah, I know.
And something like this, I would imagine at least takes up a lot of space as it is, so they kind of have to dumb down the graphics of in-game stuff just a little bit.
Oh yeah, of course. This is only the PS2, remake.
Yeah, originally. But this is the PS3, as I was saying before, this is the PS3 1.5 remix version, which is the first North American release of Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. Would you care to explain the difference between the initial and Final Mix releases?
I would love to share my knowledge of Kingdom Hearts. Anytime. Well, in Japan, they re-released... Kingdom Hearts, both games released greatest hits in America, so obviously it's popular, so there are probably many of you who have it, but did you know that you were pretty much cheated? Because quickly after, at least I think a year, or maybe even shorter after the Japanese release, the Japanese got a re-release of Kingdom Hearts. They call it Final Mix for both the first, that's what they just call it. They call the first one Final Mix, then the Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and they're just full-on remakes. This game does not have too many differences from its North American release, due to the fact that the North American release originally had extra content already included.
Oh, really?
Yes, most of the secret bosses are not found in the original game.
Huh.
But this one still has more over the original, but it's just a remake, fine-tuning some things. But the advantage this has is it has some more cutscenes to sort of tie in the story together. But we have to say this is a little more than just childhood obsessions like Ape Escape. Me and Valga, we've kind of... I'd say we're a little into this series. Maybe more than we should.
Yeah.
We've both spent an excess of money to import the said re-releases.
Yes, we
and
have.
then we get these kick in the balls about 5 years later. But whatever.
I honestly, it's not really... I wouldn't consider it a kick in the balls, to be totally honest. Oh, I love this opening tutorial. Can you move the stick forward? Brilliant.
And what's funny is that if you don't actually go forward, if you don't actually walk toward that light in the middle, you can get stuck there, because it's actually waiting for you to step during that light.
Yeah, my first experience with importing a Japanese game on my US system, I was young and actually didn't know about region blockouts. So I heard about Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix Plus, which came with Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and as well as a complete remake of Chain of Memories, which was dubbed Re-Chain of Memories, which changed the original GBA game into a PS2 full-on 3D experience. I got the game, put it into my console, and literally broke into tears when I realized it's not gonna work. So... Yeah, I can't remember. I was like 12, 13, something like that. And like I couldn't handle it because I spent so much money and waited so much time for it. And I was like super fanboy of this game. Now, I would say I still kind of am. But I can play the game and see its flaws for what it is, but still appreciate it for what it did achieve rather than what it failed to do.
Yeah, and we haven't really got into it. I bet if any of you has not heard the series, you might be totally confused. You got that weird, totally just anime stuff going on, and then
suddenly
Disney
Snow
princess.
White.
Yes.
Yeah. I always thought that was a crazy ending to that cutscene, just Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
But that's the gimmick of this series. Some will just quickly say Final Fantasy and Disney mix. I personally think that's a fine description, but some people say no. But technically think of Square Enix characters, but with a Disney world. Yeah. This is, for all intents and purposes, a Disney game, but Square Enix is they're the storytellers to some degree.
Essentially, yeah. Honestly, for what it is, I believe it works.
Very well, yes.
Especially when they add the original elements, like Sora here, main character that we'll be playing as, and those black creatures, the Heartless, which we'll explain a bit later. Now, some of you are wondering why I have a Mickey shield. I kind of wanted to show off how dingy it was to use because the range is really poor. But back there, you had to choose. Basically, what I did back there by picking the shield and discarding the wand. It basically presets what kind of stat boost you'll get as you level up, and we'll see more of that as we move along. There's a very necessary. Sorry to cut you off there, but there's a very necessary ability, I think anyway, called Scan, where you can see your opponent's health. I don't get it until very, very much later, but it was kind of interesting to play it without it for a while, you know?
Yeah, no, well, as you can see, it's very reminiscent of all App classic RPGs, class picking, which it's trying to be, but it really isn't.
It's not by much at all.
No, yeah, aside from a few select stats, you're going to end up pretty much just as powerful when you're level 100 as you are, depending on what you pick. But especially as he's growing, as you can see, as what he was saying, there's abilities you'll learn in different orders, and that I would say is what makes picking different weapons, replaying the game a little fun, is what abilities you get early. Because picking one weapon can give you one ability you learn as one of the first ones at level 9. You won't get to level 90.
Yeah, and I'm glad you cleared that up, because it doesn't necessarily determine what specific stats you'll get, but the order you get them in, as far as I know.
Yeah, you'll probably see him getting defense ups a little more often, but it's not really relevant in the end.
Yeah.
But it's cool. That whole giving up thing is sort of the same, but it's all starting stats, which are obviously minuscule to the end stats, exponentially minuscular.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a word. But
well, you say that, but also it's what I find on most of the Kingdom Hearts games and a lot of RPG games I played, during, just casually and, straight through. One of the problems I have with RPGs and their leveling up system, and I'm fucking blind, is the fact that I find anyway, the difficulty tends to dip as you level up.
Yes,
and that being said, even if you're not doing one of the harder difficulty modes, for a game like this, which has several difficulties, it's because you're so underleveled and you don't have too many moves, you don't have much health at all. I tend to find that is what brings you down in games. And when you level up to the point where nothing can kill you, basically, if you have, the right skill set as a gamer, the challenge, like I said, it's supposed to get tougher as you go throughout the game, but it really doesn't to me.
Yeah, that's, I totally agree. I remember, obviously, I think we talked about it, might have been up, but, growing up, playing Mega Man's, of course the last boss is the hardest one, because I guess Mega Man's a bad example, but think about any platform. Of course the last boss is the hardest one, because you're the same at the beginning or at the end. Although generally RPGs, the last boss will generally end up probably one of the easiest. I'd have to say I've always thought last boss in Kingdom Hearts games are always the easiest ones.
You say easiest, but I would depend on, what type of boss they are, because I find that while the overall difficulty does dip quite a bit as you level up, there are certain dickish bosses, that they throw in
Yeah,
that tend to be difficult just because they're that much stronger of a boss.
Well, yeah, but I think that's just the issue with the way this game's mechanics works, which we'll probably go into detail as they appear. But there's a lot good, but a lot going wrong with the few choices they made in the mechanics. But like I said, we'll see.
Now, I just kind of picked my choices randomly back there, but do you have any idea what that freaking Cosmo quiz changes for the game?
Yes, actually. I forgot what it said. I think it said Dawn for you.
Something
Anyway,
like that.
what you pick at the beginning, everything you do pick at the beginning does change something. And what those questions did is that it changed your character's leveling. Not like your path, but your leveling rate. I forgot. I totally wasn't even reading. But if there's three things. There's midday, dawn, and then dusk.
Really?
And dawn, the beginning of the day, you level up much faster till level 40, and then you must gain more experience from then. Midday is average throughout, and then dawn you level up much slower at the beginning, but then it goes faster. But like I said, it's level 40, so technically you'd want to level up slower at the beginning if you want the least amount of experience total. But
oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all generally, if you're going for a speed run, just pick the fast leveling one. Odds are you're not going to be anything higher than 40 or 50 at the end of the game, as you can see by his file there.
Yeah.
He's barely level 50, and he's 3.
Well, that is my my speedrun time.
And I lost.
Yep.
He beat me by like 15 minutes. I don't know how you did. I thought I was doing well.
It was pretty crazy, but yeah, it was mainly for the speedrun trophy that came with the trophy list in this game. But I wanted to turn it into a little race because we had several like classic PS1 title races like Spyro 2 and 3, the Crash Bandicoot trilogy. And I apologize for not talking too much about this tutorial, but I've played it so much, it's just I have nothing but bad things to say about it.
Bad things.
Well, it's
cool.
It's a decent tutorial, but then you get to this boss and it's a bit more exciting. It's very self-explanatory, I think, if you just pay attention to the footage. You know, honestly, I don't have like super deep opinions, except I feel so bad for Sora there. Like, he sees this giant thing, and I could swear they edit out audio where he's like, holy shit.
I know.
Alright, boss time.
Yes, this is he looks menacing. Probably one of my favorite designs of heartless bosses, but he's not hard. You can't actually die. I actually died against him during I died against him, and it ends. The fight ends. So there's no risk here, but enjoy the fight. You know, I have to say this, and you know what I have to say probably defines why I love Kingdom Hearts so much? Nothing feels better than that feeling of when you hit a person, it honestly feels like you're whacking them with a blunt object. And that's what I would describe the feeling of the combat.
Yeah, for sure.
You just smack things.
Those tech points you're seeing up there, they're basically the same as experience points, as far as value anyway.
Yeah.
And but they're gained differently. Like back there, I reflected his attack back at him, and that's essentially the bulk of most tech points. Is that you reflect and oh my god, freaking camera glitches. But if it's not like reflecting an attack, it's something else, like kind of weird. But just a special requirement. And back there, you saw my max item stock increased already. That's something like super extreme. I really shouldn't have gotten that early.
Yeah, but that's all part of what he chose at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Like I was saying, the order. Like apparently, what I chose gives me stuff like that really early on.
Yes, but well, this is the end of the tutorial.
Yeah, and as we're being swallowed up by the very first boss, I think we're gonna take a time to reflect on how the game is already over and we died.
It is. That's Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, but there will be a part 2 with the credits and whatnot, so we will see you then, our loyal viewers. And
so
remember, yes, but remember, you are the ones
who will open this video and watch it.
Yes, thank you.
See you next time.